Should you play The Binding of Isaac: Repentance in 2026? The easy answer is yes, you should. Let me explain a few reasons why. The short answer is no. Being a 2D game with stylized graphics means that visually it has aged incredibly well. It's not like a realistic first-person shooter which starts looking old in a couple of years. The art style in Isaac does exactly what it needs to do, and it definitely does not feel aged. But what about the gameplay? The thing about Isaac is that it's essentially king of the roguelike genre. Now don't get me wrong, there are many of the roguelike games and many of them are very good. Think Hades, Slay the Spire, but Isaac is the crown jewel. There's a reason why the game still regularly features in the top 100 games on Steam charts. The gameplay feels good. The moment-to-moment combat feels fair, fun, and yet is only one part of Isaac. The game has got incredible depth. I've got over 1,000 hours in Isaac, and I'm still learning new things every time I play. From interactions between the items, to niche game mechanics, it just feels like a well that never dries. There's a few ways to break this down. If you want to complete Isaac, you'd be aiming for a Dead God file, which also gets you the Platinum Steam achievement. Not to get too in depth of the possibilities in Isaac, you're looking at 34 characters who all need to complete 13 marks on the post-it note. This will take a while, and the whole time you'll be picking up and discovering over 700 items, 180 trinkets, and how many of these interact with each other. And once you add in the fact that every run is different, it's really impossible to say how much there is to truly do, other than to say quite a lot. This is largely a personal thing. It comes down to how you play games. Everybody has a limit for how much they can play a single game at a time. Like, judging by Steam achievements, a lot of you are buying AAA games like Baldur's Gate 3 and then never playing more than the first act. What Isaac does is everything in its power to make every run feel unique. With 34 characters who mostly feel unique to play, they've got their own strengths and weaknesses, and that immediately offers variety. And then every run generates its own flaws. The items you get are random each run, the enemies you get and the bosses you fight are different each run, aside from the major bosses. For me, it always felt less I'm getting bored and more like just one more run. At first, the game will feel pretty hard. You will run into enemies and bosses which you feel like you can't beat because you don't know how they're going to attack you. You don't know their attack patterns, but every time you see them, you'll learn, and soon it'll become second nature. Like these angels, it took me hundreds of hours to figure out how to actually dodge the beams. Adversary, at first he does feel unfair. It'll feel like he always hurts you the first few times, even if you kill him. But every enemy telegraphs their attacks, and as you play more, you'll get further and further without taking damage. You'll start learning about secret rooms, which might offer extra value to the run. You'll start to figure out what's worth buying in the shops. You might learn which items you shouldn't take because they don't work with your build. You'll start reading the wiki and realise that Cain starts with Lucky Foot, which means that he can take pills without risking negative effects. The game is hard, but it's fair, and if you master the game, it lets you get as powerful as you want, if you know how. I wouldn't pay full price for Isaac, but I wouldn't pay full price for any game these days. Wait for a sale and then snap it up. But even if I did pay full price, with over 1,000 hours in the game, it still would have been worth the price for me. Not many games reach these kind of hours for me, so in comparison to other games which have cost more, Isaac has offered way more value for money. Everybody likes different games. I think the main points of contention are fairly obvious. If you don't like 2D games, it's probably not your cup of tea. If you don't like roguelike games, it's not your cup of tea. And by roguelike, we're talking about games where you die or you beat a run, you start a new run from scratch with no items or consumables. There's some exceptions to that, but if you don't like roguelikes, you don't really care about that. This game does have some heavy themes, and it's got quite a lot of dirty humour. So definitely check out the game's trigger warnings if certain heavy themes are going to be a problem for you.
Grabbing a butcher's knife from the kitchen. Isaac, watching through a crack in his door.
The game does offer cross-platform multiplayer. For me personally, this is the weakest part of the game because the multiplayer adds this infuriating input delay, which can make it feel like you're moving through jelly compared to playing single player. There's frequent disconnection issues, but it's still in beta and it's still being actively worked on, so it should continue to improve. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are having fun playing Isaac with buddies. And there also is a daily run where you can rank against other people depending on how well you beat the run. Again, personally, I've got a beef with the scoring system and how it works, but it is fun to beat the daily run and then compare what happened on your run compared to other people who beat it. But these are not really the main offerings in Isaac. They're there for the people who want them. Absolutely. This is one of the easiest games for me to recommend. It's one of those timeless games. It's got the graphics which don't age, a wealth of content, rich, deep systems that are difficult to master, but extremely rewarding if you do. And if you've never played Isaac, firstly, where have you been? And secondly, wait for a Steam sale or a console sale and then snap it up. There are many great content creators still playing Isaac, but I'm going to use this space to plug my own channel, where I have a fully completed Road to 100% series, which is 3 Dead COD files. I've uploaded many dailies, and I'm currently running an Eden Streak challenge. So check that out if you want to see some of the highs and lows of Isaac in action. Links to those in the description. Thank you for watching, and enjoy.